Hello everyone, welcome to Red Snapper. My name's MJ and this is a very exciting time of the month where we look at the data mines and the leaks of brand new cards in an upcoming season. This is March and this is the Prehistoric Avengers season. This is based on a recent storyline by Jason Aaron called Avengers 1 Million BC, so it was all like oldie worldy stuff. We don't have full information, but we do have several new cards to look at. Now, the Season Pass card is Agamotto. He's a 6/12. At the start of the game, shuffle spells into your deck. And there are 5 leaked spells which we don't have any information on. Well, we have a little bit of information on. As you can see on the screen, we've got the Winds of Watum, Temporal Manipulation, Images of Icon, Bolts of Balthark, and Flames of the Faltine. So we've got a little bit of information here in that they seem to be costed. So we've got a 2-0, a 3-0, and then 3 5-0s. So maybe those will be the actual prices and abilities of these spells. We don't know what they do. We don't know what they do, guys. So let's just move on because who knows what the hell that does. I mean, I could speculate and say maybe they each do something to Agamotto when you play him, or maybe they do something themselves. I don't know. Flames, I guess, could be a destroy. Temporal could be an energy thing. Who knows? Not me. Anyway, let's move on to the first card that we do have the details of. So he's appearing in Spotlights, and it's Eson, or Eson, one of the Celestials. He's a 6/13. He's got a new keyword called Legendary. We don't know what that is, but he says at the start of the game, if all your cards have different powers, give them +2 power. This seems absolutely incredible to me. Like, this is so cool. I think this is similar levels to the fun of Arishem, and I am absolutely loving that they're seemingly releasing like maybe one Celestial a year as this massive. Well, actually, I think did Arishem come out in July? So it's been just under a year. But this epic, massive card, really cool, really high power level, and it has this game-altering sort of deck-wide effect, which is absolutely awesome. So when you think about this, basically in your deck, you've got 12 cards, obviously. All of them have to have a different power. So I've put a couple of potential synergies on the screen here. Is the Hood. The Hood has a completely unique power level, -3. Maybe Silver Sable is a card that would work well with him as well. Gets the +2 from Eson, gets the +2 when you play her, and obviously negatively impacts your opponent with the -2 as well. So that could be quite a big benefit there. But just generally speaking, I think you want to play any cards that benefit from gaining power. So maybe something like Daken. But also, the thing that is my favourite thing about this card is you need to think about the balance of all the cards in your deck. They obviously all have to have a unique power level amongst each other, so you won't be able to have that overlap. Like, you won't be able to have a Shore and a actually Black Panther's 5 now, couldn't you? You couldn't have Shore and Daken, for example. They both benefit from gaining power, but you couldn't have both of them. So absolutely awesome. My brain is just fizzing with the kind of deck lists we're going to be able to make with him, but this is probably my most anticipated card of the season. The week after, the next week of the season, is Starbrand. He's a 6/8 at the start of the game, +2 power for each card in your deck with 10 or more power. So this is very interesting. Obviously, you can see the synergies I've got on screen here. It seems like he's going to work well with the likes of Surtur and Scar. It's very interesting to see another Hulk-style character synergize with this, or continue this trend of the +10 power sort of thing, which is interesting. So let's consider that deck. The likes of Crossbones, Atuma maybe you've got in there, Scar, maybe you've got like the Arrow, something like that. Maybe you've got a Red Hulk or something else in there. You could definitely get up around 4 to 5 cards with 10 power. I don't think I'm going to be too stressed about doing that. And in that instance, if you've got, say, 5 cards with 10 or more power, blimey, Starbrand becomes an 18 power card. So he becomes an absolutely huge payoff for the final turn. I've given him 4 stars for now. I think he might ultimately be higher than that once I've had more time to mull over this. I think it'll make him better. Also, if you consider the leaks from last month, Thaddeus Ross. We're getting Thaddeus Ross, who draws, basically if your opponent ends the turn with unspent energy, you draw a card with 10 or more power. I still think that card sucks, but this is at least slightly more support for that. Very interesting. Right, we move on to Firehair. This is one that I can't quite get my head around, guys. I'm going to need help from you in the comments with this one. She's a 2/2, and by the way, spoilers, this is Thor's biological mother. Yeah, she gets it on with Odin, and she's basically the Phoenix Force. Yeah, mental. Anyway, she's a 2/2. You can move this once. When this moves, revive one of your destroyed cards here. I've given her 3 stars for now, just because I can't quite get my head around her yet. I don't know what you'd use her with. Is she like... I was kind of hoping for some sort of support for Phoenix Force, and I'm sure this will ultimately be that when I figure out how the hell it works and interacts with Phoenix Force. That is something that I'll need to consider. But what cards do you actually want to revive? This is a difficult question. Something like Bucky Barnes, I think that's not a bad one to revive. You can obviously need to destroy him again, but you get that additional 6 power Winter Soldier. But apart from that, I'm not really thinking about what you actually want to revive, because of course the joy of Phoenix Force and why that works with specific cards like Human Torch and Multiple Man is because it also has the ability to give that card a new power of, or a new effect of being able to move, so you can combo things. But with Firehair, she seems a bit more simple. The interesting thing is she will trigger if you move her as well. So with Madam Web you can squeeze extra results out of her. But again, I don't know how much are you destroying that you want to revive. Maybe really powerful on reveal effects from 1-cost cards, possibly that. I don't know, guys. Going to be a very interesting one, but for now I'm not sure, so I've just given 3 stars. Then the remaining cards of the season, we don't know what they do. We have got Khonshu coming in the final week of the season. He's a 2/1, and we only have some weird sort of leaked information of this Khonshu waxing and Khonshu full stuff. Stuff? I don't know why I'm saying stuff. Yeah, I don't know what this is. When a card is destroyed, plus 10% chance to Hulk out. Weird. Why is Khonshu talking about hulking out? That's curious. And Khonshu full, I can't say that word. When a card is destroyed, plus 10% chance to Hulk out as well. Yeah, this is all just very weird. This is basically not worth talking about yet, because we just can't even imagine what it could possibly do. Right, now, we have absolutely almost nothing for this card, but this is Ghost, the First Rider. So in that storyline, you've got the first Ghost Rider, and he rides a woolly mammoth. So I think this is really cool. He's a 2/4. Good stat line. We don't know what he does. And then the next card, we don't have the stats, but we do have the ability. This is Fanfei. I think this is Moondragon. Is it the same as Moondragon? Maybe I'm probably just being completely stupid there. Maybe it is Moondragon. Anyway, when you discard this, put it back waxing and get +1 energy next turn. What is this waxing stuff? I feel like we're getting taken the piss out of it. If they just put this in the game because they want to watch people like me like talk about it and talk about waxing. What on earth is waxing? Don't know. Anyway, sounds a bit similar to X-23, but we have no idea what this is or what it does or what the powers are. So yeah, fine. Right, finally guys, we've had a couple of changes for the Brave New World season. Cobra has changed to a 2/3 activate. Switch an enemy card here that didn't start in your opponent's deck to your side. This is very interesting. It's definitely better than the previous iteration of Cobra, but it's weird tech against sort of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Thanos and Arishem and other stuff like that. So it's part of this tech against generated cards package, and I do actually think this is good. I think it's obviously a tech card, but I think it's a good tech card and might be very powerful. Having this down, especially with the activate, means on the final turn, especially if you don't have priority, you can activate it if you're against an Arishem deck. God, it's going to be difficult for them to win that location, even something like a shield deck as well. So yeah, I think this is quite a spicy card. I don't know what you would synergize with yet, because he's just so specific, but anyway, and then finally guys, Redwing has changed. Oh my god, Redwing has changed for the worst, to be honest. Redwing has become a 3/3. The first time this moves, add a card from your hand to the old location. The difficulty with this guy is that there's a mismatch between the cards that you want to pull from your hand to make it worthwhile to get something down versus cards which will trigger Redwing. Now the cards that would trigger Redwing, because Redwing, as you can see, doesn't have the ability to move himself, so you need to play something like Ghost Spider or Madam Web or Iron Fist, whatever. So these are all lower costed cards, lower powered cards, and cards that you need to trigger Redwing, but you combine that with cards that you want to pull from your hand. So maybe I've put some synergies here, Madam Web and Infinite. It's completely random what you're going to pull, so you might pull the Iron Fist when actually you want to pull the Infinite, or however it works. Okay, those are the extreme examples. Maybe you just play this in a traditional move deck. Why do you want to do this instead of Vulture? Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. Seems like a very poor card. Yeah, so that's a shame that he's been changed, because I think the old version was a lot more interesting. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. What do you think of these new leaked cards? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.